Have you ever stood at the edge of a silent forest, your breath misting in the cold air, and wondered why the ache in your chest feels heavier than the world outside? Why the hollows of your soul echo louder in moments of stillness? This emptiness, this quiet, gnawing void, is not a curse. It is a summons. A call to descend into the depths where your shadows whisper truths you've buried beneath the noise of living. Carl Jung once wrote that the foundation of our being is not built on the light we parade before others, but on the darkness we refuse to name. We are gardens overgrown with neglected roots. We chase love, success, meaning, external trophies to hang on the walls of our hunger, yet forget that no thing, no person, no achievement can fill a vessel already cracked by self-abandonment. The void is not a lack of what lies beyond us. It is a mirror, a reflection of the unlived life within. Ask yourself, when did you stop kneeling at the altar of your own becoming? When did you trade the sacred act of self-creation for the hollow rituals of approval? The psyche speaks in symbols, in dreams, in the quiet rebellion of tears you cannot explain. It begs you to confront the parts of yourself you've exiled, the grief, the rage, the childlike wonder you deem too fragile for this world. To heal the emptiness you must first become whole. Not perfect, not polished, but undivided. Imagine your soul as a riverbed. Every unresolved wound, every unloved fragment of your being, is a stone dropped into its flow. Over time the water stagnates. Life becomes a shallow mimicry of living. But what if you dared to gather those stones? To hold them not as enemies but as ancient teachers? This is the alchemy Jung called individuation, the slow, sacred work of turning fragments into foundation. Begin here. Tonight, in the quiet hour, light a candle and ask the void, what have I refused to feel? Where have I betrayed myself to belong? Do not rush the answers. Truth arrives not in epiphanies but in whispers. Write the words that claw at your throat. Name the stories that live in your marrow. This is how you rebuild your inner world, brick by brick, breath by breath. The emptiness is not your end. It is the womb from which your truest self is born. You are not here to conquer life, but to kneel at its altar and rise, again and again, as the sculptor and the sculpture. Tend to your inner world with the devotion of a gardener. Water what withers, prune what poisons. And one day, you will wake to find the void has become a sanctuary, a home. And when the sanctuary feels distant, when the old emptiness threatens to seep through the cracks of your resolve, remember this: the work is never done. The self is not a mountain to summit, but an ocean to navigate. Storms will rise. Waves will drag you under. But beneath the chaos there is a current, a quiet, primal rhythm, that knows the way home. Jung called it the self, the compass buried in your bones, older than every wound, wiser than every fear. Ask yourself now, what mask do you still wear to survive the gaze of others? What ancient songs does your soul hum when no one is listening? The path to wholeness is not paved with grand gestures, but with the courage to sit in the dark with your own unanswerable questions. To trace the scars you've hidden and whisper, you too belong here. Consider the moon. It does not curse its phases, its cycles of waning and waxing. It does not apologize for the nights it disappears entirely. It trusts the invisible pull of gravity, the promise of return. You are no different. Your shadows, your contradictions, your seasons of retreat, they are not failures. They are the language of a deeper intelligence, a self that refuses to be fragmented by the world's demands. So let the void breathe. Let it stretch its limbs inside you. For even in the barrenness there is a pulse. A seed waiting for the right combination of rain and reckoning. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. The most profound transformations occur underground, in the silent alchemy of roots rearranging themselves around stones. And when the world insists you must be more, more productive, more certain, more palatable. Ask instead, what must I unbecome to hear my own voice again? What bridges must I burn between the person I was taught to be and the soul I am meant to become? This is the paradox of the human journey. To fill the emptiness, you must first surrender to its vastness. To find yourself, you must lose every lie you've mistaken for truth. The road winds. The night is long. But somewhere in the darkness, a lantern glows, not ahead of you but within. Carry it gently. For even the phoenix, before it rises, must first surrender to ash. What parts of you still cling to the safety of burning? What wings have you folded for fear of the fall? The ego loves its cages, the stories of not enough, the identities carved from others' expectations. But the soul knows only flight. It hums with the truth that every ending is a threshold. Every collapse, a chance to rebuild closer to the rhythm of your own pulse. Think of the child you once were, the one who marveled at dandelions breaking through concrete, who trusted the moon to follow them home. That child still lives in the marrow of your bones. They are not naive. They are the keeper of your first language, the one you spoke before the world taught you to bargain with your worth. To heal the emptiness, you must return to that primal dialect. To the raw, unedited truth of I am here. I feel. I matter. There will be days the void wears the face of a stranger. Days you wander its halls, calling out for answers, only to hear your own voice echo back. Do not turn away. Sit with it. Offer it tea. Ask it what it has come to teach you. Emptiness, like a starless sky, is not absence, it is potential. A canvas for constellations only your hands can map. And when the weight of becoming feels unbearable, remember, even the grandest oak began as a seed that dared to split itself open. Growth is not a straight line. It is a spiral. You will return to the same questions, the same fears, but each time you will arrive wiser, softer, closer to the core of who you are beneath the armor. Ask yourself now, what would it mean to love the parts of me I've labeled unlovable? To greet your shadows not as intruders but as guides? This is the alchemy of integration. The moment your scars cease to be proof of pain and become scripture, a testament to survival, to the raw beauty of enduring, the world will try to name you, to shrink you into roles, labels, boxes of should and should not. But you are a living question, a paradox, a symphony of light and shadow that defies every category. Let the void remind you, you cannot be solved, only lived, only breathed into, like a hymn only the stars fully understand. So let the journey stretch. Let it unravel you. Let it rewire your bones until your very breath becomes an act of rebellion against the lie of separation. You are not empty. You are unfinished. A masterpiece in perpetual motion, sculpted not by the hands of time, but by the choices you make in the quiet. The courage to say, here in the unknown I begin again. Consider the horizon, how it forever retreats as you approach, yet somehow, in its elusive dance, it guides you forward. This is the nature of the self. A horizon within. You are not meant to arrive, but to walk, to stumble, to gather the scattered pieces of your becoming like wildflowers pressed between the pages of your days. Jung understood this. He knew the soul speaks in riddles, in the tension between what is sought and what is found. Ask yourself, what myths have you inherited? What stories do you repeat like prayers even as they starve your spirit? The emptiness you feel is not a void, it is a protest. A rebellion against the scripts written for you by hands that never learned the weight of your name. To fill it, you must first empty yourself of everything that is not yours to carry. Think of a tree in winter. Bare. Exposed. Its branches clawing at the sky like unanswered questions. Does it mourn its leaves? Or does it understand in its silent way that surrender is not defeat, it is preparation? Beneath the frost, sap gathers. A slow, secret pulse. This is how the soul rebuilds. Not in defiance of the cold, but in collaboration with it. You too are cyclical. A universe of seasons. There are truths that can only be unearthed in the fallow periods, when the noise of doing fades, and the hum of being rises like a forgotten anthem. Do not fear the barren moments. They are not idle. They are the loom on which your deepest transformations are woven. And what of the masks you've worn so long they've fused to your skin? The roles of parent, partner, prodigy, protector, they are not you. They are costumes. Try them on, yes. Learn their textures. But do not confuse the fabric for your flesh. The soul cannot breathe beneath a mask. It thrives only when naked, unashamed, howling its raw, untamed truth into the night. So let the howl rise. Let it crack the plaster of personas you've built to please the crowd. This is not destruction. It is excavation. A return to the primal core where your fire burns untouched by the winds of expectation. Jung called it the authentic self, the uncolonized heart that refuses to bargain with its own worth. There will be days the emptiness returns, a familiar ghost. Greet it. Sit with it. Ask it what it needs you to release. Sometimes the void is not hunger, it is clarity. A reminder that you are not meant to be filled but to expand. To take up space. To let your edges blur into the infinite mystery of what it means to be alive. You are not broken. You are a mosaic. A collage of every version of yourself that has ever existed. The child, the rebel, the dreamer, the warrior. The emptiness is simply the grout between the tiles. The necessary space that allows you to bend without shattering. To hold contradictions. To be both storm and sanctuary. So keep walking. Keep questioning. Let the journey stretch you until your soul outgrows the cages of certainty. The road is dark, but you are not lost. You are a seeker. A pilgrim of your own unfolding. And somewhere in the depths, where shadows and light entwine, your wholeness waits, not as a destination but as a dance. Eternal. Unfinished. Alive. Imagine standing at the shore of an endless ocean, waves crashing with the weight of all your unlived lives. Each tide carries fragments of who you might have been, the artist, the wanderer, the lover unafraid of scars. The emptiness you feel is not a void. It is the echo of those unchosen paths whispering, "What if?" Jung called this the collective unconscious, a sea of ancestral dreams and archetypes where your longing swims alongside the ghosts of possibilities yet to breathe. Ask yourself, what tides have you refused to sail? What songs have you silenced because their melody trembled too close to the edge of your courage? The ache is not a sign of failure. It is a compass. A reminder that you are vast enough to contain multitudes, yet human enough to tremble at the threshold of your own becoming. Consider the spider spinning its web in the dark. It does not question if the threads will hold. It does not beg the moon for approval. It simply creates, strand by strand, a sacred geometry of instinct and trust. Your life too is a web, each choice, each risk, a filament connecting you to the unseen design. The emptiness? It is merely the space between threads. The necessary nothingness that allows the pattern to emerge. Do not mistake the silence for emptiness. Beneath it hums the primordial sound, the OM of the universe, the vibration that birthed galaxies. Your soul knows this frequency. It is the rhythm of your first breath, the pulse that survived every wound. To hear it again you must turn down the volume of the world. Let the static fade. Let the hum rise like a tide in your veins. And when the world demands you choose, between logic and intuition, strength and vulnerability, self and other, remember, the deepest truths live in the and. You can be both warrior and healer. Both rooted and wild. Both lost and found. The void is not here to divide you. It is the fertile ground where paradoxes marry, where contradictions dissolve into a third, unnameable thing, something truer. So let the questions unravel you. Let them peel back the layers of borrowed beliefs until you stand naked in the raw truth of your own existence. This is not a crisis. It is a baptism. A return to the essence that existed before you were named, before you were taught to fear your own depth. There will be nights the emptiness wears a crown of stars. Nights it sings you lullabies in a language older than bone. Listen. Let it remind you that you are not a problem to solve, but a mystery to inhabit. A cosmos folded into flesh, learning to love its own shadows. The journey does not end. It deepens. It spirals. It rewrites itself with every step. So take the next one. Not toward some distant finish line, but into the heart of the unknown, where the void and the vision merge, where you finally meet yourself, not as you wish to be, but as you are. Wild, imperfect, infinite. And now here at the edge of your becoming, where the void and the vision collide, you must choose. Will you let fear write your story? Or will you pick up the pen, dip it in the ink of your own courage, and begin? The world needs not your perfection but your presence. Your ragged, radiant yes to the work of showing up. Not as who you were told to be but as who you are beneath the armor. This is your invitation. Not to transcend the human condition but to fall in love with it. To plant your feet in the soil of your own truth and say, "Here I stand, broken, beautiful, ready." The journey inward is not a solitary one. You are part of a lineage of seekers, of souls who dared to stare into the abyss and whisper back light. So go. Carve your name into the walls of that sanctuary you've built from ashes. Let your life be a love letter to the parts of you still learning to breathe. And when the doubt returns, when the old ghosts hiss that you are not enough, open your hands. Remember, the same cosmos that sculpted galaxies stirs in your blood. You are not here to fix yourself. You are here to live yourself. Fully. Fiercely. Without apology. The path waits. The lantern burns. The choice, as it always has, is yours. If this journey speaks to your soul, subscribe. Together, let's keep unraveling the mysteries within.